What's up, guys? It's your boy Trey, and as most of you know, I just did a long stint over in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And let me tell you, I had a great time. Now that I'm back spending some time with the family for the holidays, I want to tell you the things I wish I knew before I went over to Rio de Janeiro. Look, the weather is great, the food is great, everything in Rio is great, but there are some things I want you to know before you hop on that plane and head over to Brazil. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually the food. Look, a lot of people get on the plane thinking they're about to feast and have a great time and just eat all of this amazing food, and you will. But you can have the opposite experience if you don't know what you're doing. So look, make sure before you get on the plane to Brazil, you take some time to learn the food and what they have to offer. Brazilians love meat, red meat to be specific. So if you're not a big red meat eater, you might find yourself getting frustrated that they don't have certain foods on the menu. Yes, they do have chicken and seafood and all that good stuff. And that's what I ended up eating a lot. But a lot of their primary dishes come with red meat. Feijoada, for instance, is like pork, and they love grilling. They have a huge barbecue culture. I know you guys probably know the restaurant. Kind of they follow. It's the restaurant where they go and they cut the meat off of the stick. But yes, if you're not a big red meat eater, you might find yourself getting a little frustrated at the lack of options you have. So take some time, check out the food they have. I personally went with a lot of seafood, like this plate. I ordered this a lot. I ordered directly from Uber Eats. They have it out there. Also, they have Rappi, which is, I think, more popular than Uber Eats. But just so you guys know, this is actually the application I use to get the food delivered straight to my house. And like that, you can find a lot of great food options if the ones you're going to in person don't have the things that you want. On top of that, I will say the food in Rio de Janeiro just tastes better, honestly. It was super fresh. I showed you guys the marketplace where you could buy all of this food. I talked to some people, or at least I tried to talk to some people, and they all said it's the freshest meat, freshest fish, freshest fruit you're going to be able to find. And from the looks of it, I don't think they were lying. So you're going to get a large option of fresh fish, produce, and that type of stuff when you're in Rio de Janeiro, if you want it. All right, next. This one came as a big surprise. So Rio de Janeiro at night is a movie. You guys seen it. It's a movie. But actually driving around the city is even bigger movie. So the cars in Rio actually do not stop at red lights. Yes, they don't stop at red lights. Now, look, this is not the first city I've been to where they don't stop for red lights. And let me be specific. This was only at nighttime. In the day, they stop for the red lights. But the first time I went to Rio, this happened, and I thought maybe I just had a drunk driver, honestly. But the second time, more drivers did it. So now I know this is just custom culture, and they only kind of did this on quiet blocks. I also think I don't want to pinpoint it because I can't remember, but I think in Mexico City they also do this at nighttime. Definitely somewhere else I went, at least one other place, they run red lights at nighttime. And no, I'm not talking about a right turn on red. No, they fully go straight through the light. I didn't see any accidents in Rio when I was out there, so I'm sure they've kind of figured out a system on how to do this and how to keep everybody safe. But again, it's just something to look out for, because when you're in that car and you see them run that first red light and the second one and the third one, might think that your life is in danger, but I think they figured out a way to do this safely. Just PSA, don't run red lights in your country. It is not a safe way to travel, but every country has their own cultural thing going on. So just want to throw that out there. Number 3 on the list is girls from Rio. Now, look, ladies, I'm not going to stay on this for too long, so you don't got to run away. I usually give you guys a warning when I'm about to go, like, detailed in this kind of stuff. But it's just one thing I want to point out, and it's for my fellas. Under 6 foot gang. Yes, we in the building. Under 6 foot gang. And why I only point out us is because the women in Rio, I don't know if this is Brazil in general, but the women in Rio are tall. They are tall. Like, women in Rio start at like 5'8" and above. So I definitely think if you look this up, now look, guys, they say Netherlands, Dutch people are the tallest people in the world by country. This has to be the same fact for Brazilian women. Brazilian men are tall too, but specifically Brazilian women, I don't think I've ever been a place where all the women are my height or above. So just something to consider if you under the 6 foot gang. My 6 foot and up fellas, I know you don't care about this type of stuff, but I just want to throw it in there so you know what you're getting yourself into. The women out in Rio are on the taller side, and that took me by surprise. Like I'm used to women being 5'8" and under, and almost all of the women in Brazil were 5'8" and above. So it is life in Rio. All right, let's keep it going. Next thing that I wish somebody told me was chargers. So it's actually been a while that I've traveled to the Latin America, and they didn't have U.S. charging ports. So in Portugal they actually use the European charger ports. In Portugal, in Brazil, they actually used Portuguese charger ports, which are the European charger ports, which makes sense. But I've gone to Colombia a bunch of times. I've gone to a bunch of places in South America, and I've seen it, but it's usually a kind of like a dual outlet where sometimes it's the European one and the American one. But in Brazil, you're gonna pretty much get exclusively. I'm talking about if you're staying in the Airbnb, you're gonna pretty much get exclusively this type of port, like the Brazilian Portuguese kind of port is the one that you're gonna get. So you want to bring a converter, obviously, so that way you can just do your little move and plug up, and now you're good to go. Just a heads up on that, because the second time I brought my outlet changer, but the first time I left at home, so I had to end up buying one. My friends brought some too. So just if you have one in your house, quickly pack it. You could always get one in Brazil though. It's super cheap. It's like $3 or something like that. Just something to keep a heads up for. Next we're gonna get into the weather. All right, look guys. Yes, you guys probably thinking like, I think I know where he's going with this. He's probably going to say Brazil isn't always hot. Sometimes it get cold. So no, I'm not going that direction. I actually want to say that the weather was better than I expected versus the prediction or the forecast, right? So not almost every day, but a good 3 days they said it was going to rain in Rio, and it didn't rain once. I think I was very fortunate, but also I talked to my friends. I said, hey, why every day it says it's gonna rain? And they told me that weather people in Brazil, Rio specifically, has its own little climate thing going on, and weather people aren't really good. And it actually kind of reminded me of Florida. A lot of days, if you're in Miami or you live in a tropical place, sometimes the weather people just put rain on there just because they feel like it may rain. And look, I kind of get it, because if it does rain and they told you it was going to rain, it's a win for them. But if they told you it wasn't going to rain and it does rain, now you're upset. So they kind of give you the worst option. And if it turns out to be better, look, you're good to go. Nobody's upset. But if it's the opposite way around, then you're upset and you're, cranky and calling the weather people and complaining. So I think Rio has a little bit of that stuff going on where they're just kind of trying to figure out what the heck is going on with the weather. But all right, next on the list, credit cards. So I did have a friend. I want to say nobody told me this, but I did have a friend who told me, hey, you should just bring up a credit card and not bring cash. And I was like, all right, I kind of like cash. I've been a bunch of places. Most places are pretty credit card friendly, but I'm just like, I don't know. I always like carrying cash in somebody else's country's type of money. So I'm like, you know what? Look, I'll just bring the cash. And this is a seasoned traveler guy, so I'm kind of taking his word. Like, it's a seasoned traveler. I don't think he would tell me to bring card if it wasn't credit card friendly. But Brazil and Rio specifically is super credit card friendly, guys. I'm not even joking. From the coconut guy. From the coconut selling guy. He has a card reader. I'm not joking, bro. I went to a farmer's market. You guys seen? Everybody has a credit card reader. Literally, you could pay a credit card for everything. Subway, farmer market, freaking people selling drinks, illegal drinks. The lady, if you guys seen a video with the lady who sold me the illegal drink and then ran when the cops came. She had a credit card reader. Everybody in Brazil has a credit card reader. Everybody. It was actually mind blowing how many people have credit card readers. So I paid with credit card a bunch of times, and I didn't have any fraud problems. I think you'll be fine paying with credit card. It was actually pretty cool to be able to, you know, not use cash if I didn't want to use cash. But just a heads up, guys, credit cards everywhere, everywhere. This would be the equivalent if you went to New York and try to ask the hot dog selling guy, can you pay with credit card? He'll look at you like you're crazy. He'll look at you literally like the icy selling guy, like a Mr. Softy truck. Everybody would have a credit card reader if the culture was the same as it was in Rio to New York. But I digress, just so you guys know. Next on the list is designer clothes. Look, I know you want to get dripped up and dressed down. I know this. And in my Colombia video, I said, look, you probably won't need it because you'll be walking a lot. But I did feel like if you were going out, it was nice to have. I don't know why, but, it's like when I go to Medellin or even Bogota, there's something about, that energy still feels nice to have on. Something, a little luxurious. You feel good about yourself. But in Brazil, it was complete opposite. Leave all the designer stuff at home. Like in Colombia, I could legit find somebody else with some type of, even if it was knockoff, they would have it on. Literally 9 out of 10 people, 9.5. I don't think I've seen anybody with a designer anything in Rio. It was crazy. Maybe it was just an off week, but it didn't seem like they cared not one bit about designer brands, like literally not one bit. Like it's kind of like one of the first countries I think I've been to. I'm talking about from the Dominican Republic to Colombia, even Peru. I seen some drip, like something like a little G here, LV there, like little Dior, like something. But Brazil, no, I didn't see anybody. And I mean, maybe it was just in the areas I was at, but I would say just leave it home. Like I didn't feel like I needed it. I felt like I was overdressed. And yeah, that was kind of shocking. But all right, number 8, mosquitoes. Buh. Mosquitoes are no joke in Brazil. Let's just start it off there. You guys could probably see in this video, I was black and blue at this point, and I was only maybe a week or two into this journey. Like they ate me alive, guys. And the mosquitoes are not normal. They are not normal mosquitoes. These aren't New York, Brooklyn mosquitoes. Not even Florida. Not even Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Like these were another type of super cyborg mosquitoes. I'm talking about the ones you see on the advertisements when they doing the West Nile virus and the yellow fever and stuff, where you never seen them in person, where they're like super big with the big needle face. Those type of mosquitoes are in Rio de Janeiro, and they had a feast with me. They loved me, like full course meal, Benihana's, no, Philippe Childs. They ate me alive, and they had no remorse. They was like, yeah, this is this is what I want tonight. This is the full course meal, steak, dark meat, well done. But guys, definitely bring repellent. It seems obvious. I always bring it, but I usually never apply it because I don't take the threat serious, to be honest. But yes, you will need it, and you will need to apply it. So go get that done. All right, lastly, guys, Google Maps. And this is just not Rio or Brazil. This is everywhere. Always be careful with Google Maps, because Google Maps knows the territory, but they don't know the landscape. We're going to leave it like that. That's how we're going to say that. And basically what I mean by that, guys, they know the best route, but they don't know how it looks. If it's janky, they don't know the vibes. They don't know the people. They don't know. So I got lost a bunch of times, and I'm sure you guys may have seen those videos, me walking over to the stairs, the Pharrell and Snoop Dogg stairs. And if you didn't, tap above. Well, not tap above, but go look up this video right above that I was got lost right by the Pharrell stairs, which is like the hood. So, just so you know, if Google Maps says take a right and it looks dangerous, don't take the right. Google Maps doesn't know what it's talking about. And I tend to deal with that a lot in a bunch of different places. So it's just a heads up for you guys who maybe just new to traveling and be like, well, Google Maps say to take it. I actually have a funny story. When I was in Trinidad, I literally walked through one of the most dangerous neighborhoods I had to be in all of my travel. career, and it was because Google said, "Oh, hey, this is only a 6 minute walk." And when I say that 6 minute walk felt like 30 minutes, whew, child, never again would I do that. But all right, guys, look, I'm gonna cut it here. I don't want to keep you guys all day. This is just my top 9 things to look out for when you're in Brazil. If you know somebody going to Rio de Janeiro, send them this video. Let them know, hey, this is a dude who was there. He was on the field, like he knows what's going on out there, and I would take his advice, because these are the kind of things that stuck out to me, and I wanted to be able to bring it back to you guys so you can have the best trip possible. Look, man, it's Troy. You know how we doing. I got a bunch more videos for you guys, so stay on the lookout. We gonna keep it going. We going strong. Remember, it's Troy. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a dude on YouTube doing what I enjoy to do, which is travel and take these clips and bring them back to you so you get to experience it with me. Don't call me a YouTuber, please. I'm out of here, guys. Bye. One.